Beautiful girls and my handsome boys, welcome back again to favorite astrology channel, which is one and only Jopivan Astrology. Jopivan Astrology. Jopivan Astrology. Jopivan Astrology. So today in this video we will talk about what will gonna happen when Mercury is placed in the different houses of your D1 lagna chart. Okay?
Guys, I would like to tell you before you move forward, you can directly take consultation from us. We have created a website now. It's so simple. You can go there, link in description and the comment section below. You can just click there and just click of a button, you can just simply purchase directly consultation from us as the instruction are given on the website, and then we will just help you out in the consultation. Okay guys, so for that, links are in comment section and description. You can purchase consultation also.
Now guys, of course we will see that what will be the impact of Mercury when it's placed in the different houses of your chart in your different life, like love life, maybe finances, business, profession, and overall life, right? So first of all, let's see what does Mercury represent in astrology. So in Vedic astrology, Mercury in Vedic astrology is also known as Buddha, right? Buddh planet, and Buddh is Mercury. Okay, and it represent your analytical intelligence. Okay, uh, it represent the quick wittedness that person can have, right? It represent your intellect, it represent your humor. Okay, Mercury represent, can also, we can also see that your education. Mercury represent education, books, learning. Okay, capacity to grasp things, that is also Mercury. Mercury also represent your younger sibling. Why? Because in the Kalapurusha Kundli, Mercury sign Gemini is fall in the third house of younger sibling. So yeah, Mercury is the planet of your communication. So we also see your communication from Mercury. Although for that communication we have to see other placements, other things, your second house, third house, and a lot. But Mercury is also important, you know, because let's say Mercury is damaged or in a very bad affliction chart, then the people might have problem in having good communication. So that could also be seen. Uh, you will see that generally people who are born with strong Mercury are usually have a sharp thinking and a very good analytical skills. Okay, they are good in analyzing things as well. uh, Mercury symbolizes area related to commerce, trade, banking, networking, accounts, and so on. Okay, strong Mercury signifies success in, like, these areas, which is like banking, network, all these areas that I've already discussed, accounts, trading, etc., business also. Okay, because for seeing the business we have to particularly focus on the Mercury also, apart from all other things. Successful writers, news reporters, media personality, CA, chartered accountant, artists, lawyers, all these people also have generally good Mercury in their chart. Mercury, guys, is a benefic planet. Okay, generally Mercury is a benefic planet. You see that Mercury generally is like a, have this changeable kind of a nature. Okay, so you will see that the people who have strong influence of Mercury, or their ascendant is like Mercury ruler, or somehow if Mercury is somehow influencing them a lot, then these people will have changing nature. Like one day they like this thing, then they like that thing, then they are like, let's put this particular table in this direction in the room. Then maybe 15 days pass, and then they get bored. They are like, oh my god, I have to change the setup. Let's put this in this direction, and then again in that direction and that direction. So yeah, they are like, let's eat this thing. Then after some time they're like, no, 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 let's eat that thing, not this one. So yeah, that changing nature is like Mercury. So now guys, let's see that what will gonna happen when Mercury is placed in the first house of your chart, of your D1 lagna chart, we can say. When Mercury is placed in the first house of your chart, so first of all, what does first house represent? First house represent you yourself, your head, your hair, your skull, your brain. Although for brain we have to see fifth house as well. Your skin, your journal, immunity, your vitality, your overall well-being and success. Okay, these things, your general characteristics, your physical characteristics, uh, overall your personality and thinking pattern, you know These things are seen from the first house. So first house, or we can say ascendant, because first house is also known as ascendant, represent you. Okay, your overall personality, right? So Mercury, when placed in the first house, you know, uh, when Mercury comes to the first house, then it makes you a person who wants to communicate. As I told you earlier in this video, that Mercury is like, Mercury is the communication. Like for communication, Mercury is really important. And now when this significator of communication is come in the ascendant, definitely uh, it make you a person who wants to communicate more. Okay, first house is about yourselves. Okay, so they want to, like we can say that the person who have Mercury in the first house, they want to portray their positive side to the people. Okay, so they behave like they want to show, or I can say portray their positive side to the people. These people who have Mercury in the first house, you guys are very clever. Okay, very talented people. And it can also make them diplomatic. Okay, although for diplomacy, Rahu, Venus, etc., role is also important, but generally it can also make them very diplomatic kind of a person. If anyone have Mercury in the first house, so you will also see that. Uh, Now, you guys who have Mercury in the first house, you are very jovial kind of a person, and you might have a very good sense of humor. That could also be possible. So, like good sense of humor kind of a person can also be seen with this placement of Mercury in the first house. You will be generally good looking, and one thing you will definitely should definitely see that you will definitely see this, that when you have Mercury in the first house, you are generally good looking, and also you look very youthful in appearance. That means with this placement, if of course no other malefic etc is influencing, and especially the planet like Saturn, then generally you look like, with naturally we are talking about with the Mercury in the first house, you look very younger person, younger than your age. Maybe you are in your 20s, and people it's like, oh, you might be almost like a 20, less than 20 in age. So maybe you are in your 30s, then people say, oh, you are in your 20s. So that's kind of a thing you will experience with this placement. Okay, uh, when generally you will see that Mercury have changeable nature, and now it comes to your ascendant in your first house. So you like to do many things simultaneously. Okay, that could also be possible. Like on the one hand they are starting this channel on YouTube, on the other hand they are doing their own job also, on the other hand they are also started a side business, and then they are studying astrology as well. So multitasking kind of a person, I've just given you example. Okay, so multitasking, doing many things simultaneously. And people, when they know about it, people get shocked that how can you manage so many things. But generally, Mercury give them ability to do so many things simultaneously. That could also be possible. You might have capacity to think and to do more than one work at a time. So if you are a person who have Mercury in the first house, and you do a lot of things simultaneously. So, and you are thinking that, oh, I have, even if in work I have multiple works, so you are thinking why this have. So this might be one of the factors due to which you are able to do multiple things simultaneously. Okay, uh, now see, although you are able to do multiple things simultaneously, but generally it is seen that with Mercury in the first house, it make you a person who are doing many things, like doing this and doing that and doing so many stuff, that it will not let you become expert in any one thing. Because let's say you are doing one work and you are doing that for years and years, then you become expert in that field. But generally Mercury in the first house will make your nature is very curious. So you will have little knowledge of many different field, but you will never be an expert in one field. But generally it is not. But although of course if other placement are supporting, maybe you can be. But generally it is said, okay, that when Mercury, and it is also seen, it's a fact kind of, that if Mercury in the first house, then the person may do so many things, and he might, like you might call these people as jack of all trade and master of none. It is a good statement for them. These guys are jack of all trade and master of none. Maybe If you have this placement, maybe people start to talk to you about astrology, you can talk to them with astrology. Then you meet a diplomat, you start to talking like a diplomat kind of a person. Then you talk about politics, then you talk about maybe study, then you talk about spirituality, then you talk about sexuality, then you talk about maybe materialistic life, then you talk about spiritual life. So generally little knowledge of everything is seen in these people. That's why they are multitasker. Okay. uh, Generally it is also seen that when you have Mercury in the first house in a group, you may become a very popular face. Okay, because you know so many things and you can talk on various topics. So generally the people who have knowledge of so many things, people get impressed from such peoples. Why? Because let's say you are sitting in a group and people starting and discussing on different topics, and you have the knowledge, you just start discussing on different things. People might think that, oh my god, this is he or she is a very knowledgeable intelligent person. Okay, but generally this knowledge is not deep. That is the only problem. But in terms of getting good impression or getting good things in groups, this is really a good placement in that way. Okay, because generally you have little knowledge of different things, so you are easily able to talk on different topics. Okay, now guys, it is also seen that when you have Mercury in the first house, you know, uh, so like these people, like he or she may have like business skills. Okay, and they are good, or I can say they could have good problem solving abilities. They may have business skills and they could also have good problem solving abilities. Okay, they can become entrepreneurs, they can become diplomats also. Okay, writers are also seen with displacements, diplomats and entrepreneur, when you have Mercury in the first house. Now guys, there is a book called as an astrological book called as Fal Dipika. So Fal Dipika said that if Mercury is posited in the first house, then native will be soft spoken, long lived, and he will learn shastras. Okay, maybe interested in astrology and the old texts, that could also be possible. Okay, so that is also seen with this placement of Mercury in the first house. Now, my beautiful girl and my handsome boys, Mercury is a planet that rule over your intelligence. Okay, and also your ability to memorize things. There are some people who are like, I have seen like girl, especially one girl. She was like, so good. Like she is one like daughter of one of my relative, and like she just read the full newspaper. Like, can you imagine, like the full one page of newspaper, she just read that and she is able to memorize that. She has such a great memorize, like memory. And so then I had seen her chart, and then I see that Mercury is pretty strong in her chart. Okay, so yeah, Mercury also give you very good like abilities to memorize thing. Okay, and of course it rules your intelligence as well. And see, first house represent you from outside, the native from outside, and your behavior, your persona, and your appearance. Okay, so when Mercury come to this house, which is first house, uh, it definitely show that it will impact your entire life. Okay, because the ascendant become the triggering point of your life. So your entire life becomes about Mercury related things, like the communication and all these kind of stuff. Mercury in the first house makes you highly intelligent. Okay, and it will give you curiosity to know more. Okay, you want to know this, you want to know that. It make you a very curious kind of a person. Okay, and also it may be possible that you will see that when you have Mercury in the first house, expressing yourself is a big part of your life. Okay, you might have a natural curiosity of knowing things in detail. That could be possible. uh, you might love uncovering mysteries. Okay, solving such mysteries, solving puzzles and riddles of the life, that could also be possible. Okay, with this placement, although for like deep mystery etc, 8000 Rahu role is also important, but generally these things are also seen. uh, Now guys, see, when Mercury is set in the first house, it influences your overall personality. So it can make you sometime very philosophical kind of a person, or we can say intellectual artist, intellectual entrepreneurs. Such kind of people are also seen with this placement. With this placement of Mercury in the first house, native is usually way ahead of others. You know, native in thinking uh, is always ahead of others. When Mercury is placed in the first house, then these people's generally it is seen that they are always ahead of others in thinking. Okay, because Mercury make them quick and consistent learners. However, this ability might be used for the wrong reasons if Mercury is afflicted. That may you may also see. Okay, if certain planets are aspecting Mercury, then these people become very clever in a negative way, and they become so clever that they can make fool to the very intelligent people as well. Okay, if certain planet aspect this Mercury, so yeah, that could also be seen. Mercury is the planet for merchandise, merchants. Okay, Mercury is a young planet. Okay, it has youthful energy, but it is generally like, you know, it's really hard for Mercury to find the certain, like to go into certain direction, because it loves so many things. So making expertise in one thing is hard for Mercury. Okay, uh, and Mercury when placed alone in the first house, that is why it is also seen that if this Mercury in the first house is placed with the Sun, that it is considered very good, especially in the first house, because it makes a good Buddhadikta yoga, a strong Buddhadikta yoga. Okay, so yeah, that is also seen. Now on the other hand, if you see that Mercury is placed in the first house, and let's say Venus is placed in the with the Mercury in the first house, then you will generally find that these people will become chatty, romantic, flirty kind of a personality, very creative, you know. Maybe they could do business or work related to perfume, jewelry, music, arts, drama, acting, and other Venus related field. That could also be possible. Okay, now guys, with Mercury in the first house, these people are generally very sharp, observant kind of a people. They observe things closely. Okay, however, observing and analyzing other people, you know, they generally, you may generally see in them like maybe they naturally have this ability to observe and analyze other. Further, with Mercury in the first house, person speaks a lot even when there is no need to speak. That is the thing that you always have to be careful, or that is the thing that you can learn from this that I'm telling, that you generally have this ability that you speak generally more, that you start a discussion, then you keep talking, and maybe other people start to feel bored. So you might have to understand that. Okay, so that is an annoying thing about this Mercury in the first house. If you have the, maybe you just keep talking, other people are like, oh my god, he's talk a lot. So you have to be understand, this is the thing that you have to overcome. If you think that if you just get a little bit signal that the person is trying to ignore you, then stop, don't keep just talking. Okay, you may also notice that when you have Mercury in the first house, it can make you frank, outspoken, and sometimes blunt also. Okay, and if you become blunt, then you might hurt others feeling, so you have to be careful for that. Okay, but generally, you know, generally you will see that when you have Mercury in the first house, it can make you very expert in communication, easygoing kind of a person, friendly, you know, give you good sharp intellect. Okay, youthful appearance. Okay, and maybe you would like to like to talk to the younger people also in your life. That could be possible. uh, so yeah, this is all about, guys, Mercury in the first house. Now of course, full horoscope consultation is required to see the big picture. Okay, for that links are given in the description. And now we will talk about what will gonna happen when Mercury is placed in the second house of your chart. Now, my beautiful girls and my handsome boys, we will talk about what will gonna happen when Mercury is placed in the second house of your chart. Okay, so first of all, what does second house represent, second house relate to wealth, second house relate to money, second house relate to family life, second house relate to domestic happiness, second house relate to knowledge, second house relate to speech, second house show your oratory skills, your imagination, your face. Okay, it can also show your tongue, your mouth. Okay, in some cases it represent your education, right? The starting one, okay, the lower classes, right? Second house represent your right eye. Okay, it is also known as dhan bhava because it represent the it's the houses of your finances, right? It's your savings, it's your assets, your family assets. Okay, the planet in the second house also tell us like what kind of a food you eat, right? It also tell about your like what kind of a family life you have. uh, so yeah, these are the thing. Also you can judge persons like you see that the person, how the person speak, what kind of voice a person have by second house, that can also be seen. uh, so yeah, this is also the you can say the primary house of wealth also. Okay, it is related to material possession like clothing, jewelry, etc. That could also be seen. And actually it is also the house of values, right? Second house also the house of value. So depending upon what planets are there, it also tell that what you value. So what will gonna happen when planet, which is Mercury, is placed in the second house of your chart? Okay, we will see that now. So you know Mercury, if well placed in the second house, then you know you guys may become amazing communicators. Okay, and you will also see that the people who are good in debates, okay, generally the people who impress others by their debate, who win debates, they might have, okay, not necessary, but they may have, or they may have Mercury in this second house. Okay, and if you see that, of course, like they could have other placement as well, like in the third, etc., can also give that, but generally I'm talking about, okay, they could have Mercury in the second house. uh, they could have, like, if you have Mercury in the second house, maybe you could have very good argumentative skills, right? You can argument well with the people. Okay, that's why down the line it can make you good in debates, of course. uh, but yeah, it can also make you critical person, that could also be seen. Okay, uh, you might also be well versed in many languages, that could be possible, because it can also represent that maybe you can speak different languages. Okay, that could also be possible with this placement. uh, if there is any connection of Rahu or maybe the 12th lord, okay, with this second house, then you may learn a foreign language also. Okay, that could also be possible. It may also seen that, like, when Mercury is placed in the second house, you will also notice that you might be good at money matters. Okay, you might be good at, like, keeping the records and all that regarding the money matters. You might be very good, right? Like, that could also be seen generally when Mercury is placed in the second house of your chart. uh, like, when Mercury is placed in the second house, you may also see that you might have, or I can say these people who have Mercury in the second house, they have certain calculation on how much to save, how much to spend. Okay, you guys do good plannings on financial goal, etc. So all these things can be seen. Okay, so sometime you may due to all these things, you may see that people who have Mercury in the second house, they can do well as a banker, as a wealth manager, advisor, etc. That could also be seen. This position of Mercury in the second house can also be good for businessmen, entrepreneurs, teachers, etc. That could be possible. You guys could be singers, artists too. That could also be possible. It can sometime, it is also seen that when Mercury come in the second house, it can make you charitable also. Like, you are like, it can make you your nature charitable as well. That could also be seen. Now guys, when Mercury sit in the second house, it aspect the 8th house by its 7th aspect, which means that when Mercury sit in the second house, it's throw its aspect on the 8th house. Okay, it's drishti, its aspect. So when it's throw its aspect on the 8th house, so it show that you guys will use your intelligence and logic in occult sciences as well. Okay, so you might you might also be good in astrology, or maybe you know astrology, you might have interest and you can do good, like, because Mercury with this aspect definitely give you somehow interest in the astrology. Okay, and you could have research kind of abilities, you could go deep into the subjects, especially like astrology, philosophy, you can go deep. So that could also be seen with this placement of Mercury in the second house. Now according to Faldipika, if Mercury is placed in the second house, then it is Faldipika said that this person earn his livelihood by his intelligence. Okay, which means he make money by using his intelligence. Now it's a normal thing, because no matter what we do, we all use our intelligence, of course, but but actually, personally, I feel that what actually it means is that uh, like this person, like whatever he do mental kind of a work, maybe more like he have to use his brain more in the work, and the speech, maybe, that kind of skills. I personally think that could be the thing over here. That's what it's trying to say. Okay, now since second house concerned with the wealth of the native, okay, meaning that, of course, like, how much money the person could have, what kind of assets you have, we also see the second house for that. So uh, Mercury, when sit here in the second house, it influence your approach towards money. Okay, or I can say approach to money. uh, you are naturally blessed with the talent to think of different ways to make money. So maybe you, when you have Mercury in the second house, you might naturally have this talent to think about different ways to make money and all that, like maybe building multiple sources of income. That could also be seen with this placement. Now if Mercury is badly aspected, okay, uh, then you might use your intelligence in acquiring wealth through illegal ways. Okay, that could also be seen. So if you see that if Mercury is in a very malefic influence, okay, uh, then maybe this person could do some illegal ways to make money and to become rich. That could also be seen. So yeah, also when you have Mercury in the second house, uh, you guys have the ability to achieve financial success through your communication skills. Maybe you do some work in which you have to just speak, give presentation and all that, and maybe something like that, and you make money by that. uh, with Mercury in the second house, money is always in your mind, as your thoughts are usually wandering towards the financial aspect of the life. So definitely you will see that you guys are the people who suffer the least from unemployment. Generally it is seen that when Mercury in the second house, in that way it's very good, because generally somehow or other, how money, they just try to find out, okay, this is the way to make money, that's the way they try to build multiple sources, so somehow or other they find the way to make money. Okay, their bright mind, when Mercury is placed in the second house, uh, their bright mind always find a ways to earn adequate amount of wealth and create a safety net. You will definitely see that. uh, so you guys might, it may also seem that when Mercury is placed in the second house, you might be great with the numbers, right? That could also be possible. Like for example, like, like mathematician, financial advisors, okay, or something to do with money management, something like that. uh, when you have Mercury in the second house, these field could also be like good for you, or maybe you must find people who have Mercury in the second house in these field. Okay, uh, when Mercury is placed in the second house, the generally it is considered good, and person uses brain to earn money. Okay, it can, like, the person will be very sharp to identify the ways to make money. okay, in any given situation. That's really amazing thing. No matter what situation you give to a person, he will definitely find some ways to somehow or other make money, right? uh, like it may also possible that maybe, you know, for some people maybe they do stock related work, buying and selling and trading, and they earn money by that. That could also be possible. Okay. uh, Now although there is one combination, that if let's say Mercury is somehow connected with the fifth house, like, you know, fifth lord is with the Mercury in the second house, something like that, then it might be good for you to make money from any kind of speculative business. Okay, speculative business are different. Stocks could be speculative. Making a movie in which you have invested all your money is also a speculative business. So yeah, that could also be seen. uh, and definitely you will see that when you have Mercury in the second house, uh, you are the kind of a people who are very good at management and planning and having a solution of every situation. That could also be seen. So yeah, with this Mercury in the second house, you may also see that, uh, you know, second house is also connected with the speech. Like how much speech will you contribute in your life, you know, can be seen here, right, with this placement. So when Mercury plays in the second house, it will definitely add intellect in the speech, means uh, you will be excellent in communication. Okay, and maybe you use this power of communication for your livelihood, which means to make money. Okay. uh, so yeah, that could also be possible. Now it is also seen that, like, you know, when you may see that I have seen that when Mercury is placed in the second house, that these guys, whoever who have Mercury in the second house, or you might have Mercury in the second house, you could be good in analyzing the data, okay, or to do with number, or could be excellent to something to do with number. That could also be possible. uh, so that is why sometime a great accountant can also be seen with this placement of Mercury in the second house. Okay. uh, Now of course, if Mercury is how it is placed and all that thing must be seen, but generally you will notice these things. But you may also notice that in a certain way, even if Mercury is badly afflicted, then these guys, let me just tell you, even if it's like a badly afflicted, then these guys will, what they do, they manipulate the data, and they make government full, they make government or any laws fool, or I can say not fool actually. Then if this Mercury is in some malefic influence in a certain way, then it can make this person a person who can find, easily find, by using their brain, flaws in the system. No matter what rules and regulation you made, this person who have malefic influence in this Mercury in the second house, this person will find some flaws in the system, that okay, these are the flaws, and let's use this disadvantage of the government law or whatever for their own benefit, and they also make money by that. So that could also be seen with this placement, right? So yeah, guys, this is all about Mercury in the second house. Now of course, full horoscope consultation is required to see the big picture of the chart. So if you want that, links are given in the description. And now let's talk about what will gonna happen when Mercury is placed in the third house of your chart. My beautiful girl and my handsome boy, when Mercury is placed in the third house of your chart, then what will gonna happen? So first of all, what does third house represent? Third house represent your willpower, your younger sibling, your courage. Third house is the house of courage, adventure, your self effort. Okay, whatever self effort you have to put in your life, it represents your enthusiasm, it represents your initiativeness, it represents your motivation, it represents your desires also. Okay, it represents the technical field also, it can represent computer technology, it can represent public relations, advertising. Okay, these kind of a field, PR agency, maybe social media type of agencies, right? It can represent art, drama, you know, actor, dancing. Now of course, fifth house also important for that. But why fifth house is important for that? Because fifth house is the bhavat bhavam of the third house, higher form of third house. That is why fifth house is like more like a, like third house is more like a YouTube, and fifth house is more like a film industry. I hope you're getting my point. So third house also represent your neighbors, it represent your short journeys. Okay, so yeah, it can represent adventures, your self effort. So these things are represented by the third house. Now third house is like the house of main house of communication. Okay, media, journalism, internet, IT, okay, writing. So, and short distance traveling, all these things, like generally you consider traveling also. These are the things that third house represent, and a lot of other thing, of course. So you know, uh, when Mercury is placed in the third house, so first of all you should represent you should understand that sorry, it's now first of all you should understand that in the natural Kalpurusha zodiac, in the Kalpurusha Kundli, Kalpurusha zodiac, the third sign is Gemini, which means naturally the third house ruler is Mercury, because Gemini ruler is Mercury. So in a way, if you see that from the perspective of like the Kalpurusha Kundli, no matter which ascendant you are, if you have Mercury in the third house, that in a way Mercury also have its own energy over here. So for communication related aspect, for language, creativity and all that field, Mercury becomes strong here. Okay, because ultimately Gemini sign fall in the third house in the Kalpurusha Kundli, that's why. So generally Mercury suit well in this house, as Mercury is a very fast moving planet. Okay, uh, so you may also notice that this person could be very quick. Okay, very, like this person could have changing mind, quick nature, generally that could be seen. Okay, and maybe they could have something like very self effort type of energy, maybe, especially if like your ascendant lord is going into the third house and it's Mercury. So then you will definitely see that the person could be inclined towards business with this placement, that could be possible. Okay, it may also possible that when Mercury is placed in the third house, you could be quick to react. Okay, very fast in decision. Okay, in decision making, that could be possible, and you could be a quick learner also. But here's the thing, you might say that I have Mercury in the third house and I am not a quick learner. Maybe Saturn aspecting your Mercury. Okay, that's why Saturn slow down the fastness of Mercury, right? So you have to see other thing as well, but generally these things are seen. uh, Now of course this trait of like quickness will definitely help this person who have Mercury in the third house in the situation that, like require being very active. Okay, like sports, also business, and particularly you will see martial arts, like this placement is good for that. Even in any sport you consider, cricket, football, anything, soccer, like the American football, whatever you consider, like all the sports, you will definitely see that like quickness is important. So this Mercury give them. Uh, Generally, this Mercury in the third house will give this native strength to take quick decisions, split second decision. Okay, and you know that in stock market also these quick decisions are important. But I'm not saying that this placement is good for stock market, because if other planet like Saturn is aspecting, then this person is not able to take quick decision. Then this person will take good decision, but he will take some time. He will first analyze, he will first, like he can give the best advice if Saturn is also aspecting, but then, like depending upon of course how Saturn is, but generally then this person will take some time, then realize. Okay, so of course other things are also seen. uh, when Mercury is placed in the third house, definitely it definitely make you communicative kind of a person, good in communication. Now this communication is not only about talking, you can communicate in writing, in media, in any kind of communication. Even this YouTube is also through Mercury, in the third house, can also show communication by any means, any medium. uh, sometime it is also seen that if other malefics are not influencing, then this, if only Mercury in the third house and other malefics are not influencing, then this person could have good handwriting as well. Okay, and they could be excellent in written communication. You may also notice that, right? uh, and also generally it is seen that with using the Mercury ability, they can also, Mercury could help them in gaining good wealth and fortune with this placement. Okay, if they have younger sibling, that could be youthful, joyful, maybe business minded person, that could also be seen. Okay, now guys, third house in Vedic astrology is also connected with the, concerned with, we can say, sibling, neighbor, communication, relatives, and how we communicate, etc. So it also signifies actually short trips, right? So it may possible that maybe for traveling, for education purposes, for business, you may travel a lot, and maybe you are in work in which you have to travel. With this placement of Mercury, that could also be possible. In a way, this is a placement where Mercury feel that I am at my home, right? When Mercury is a place in the third house, it is a kind of a placement where Mercury feel that I am at my own home, or I am in my own home, right? Because I told you earlier that in the Kalpurusha Kundli, third house is the Gemini sign, whose rule is Mercury. So Mercury, in no matter which ascendant you are, Mercury in a third house also have some kind of energy of its own home. Okay, because of third house. So it grants you with a lot of lofty degree of intelligence, okay, and an excellent way of communication through speech and writing. So if generally, if you have Mercury in the third house and it's in good position, so you will definitely see that communication by any medium, by writing or by speech, become your strength. You are very good in that, so you must have to use that for your benefit in your life, to earn money or to do whatever you want to. Okay, you may also notice that when you have Mercury in the third house, uh, it might make you a person who is mentally quite alert and clever. Okay, uh, like, and you could have a very sharp intellect of logic, right? That could also be possible. And you will notice one thing that I have seen, that like with Mercury in the third house, it can make you an exceptional public speaker and writer. Like when they speak, like these people, when they go on stage, they start to speak, like people will literally get mesmerized by their speaking skills, right? Because they are very good, they can impress others by their, speeches. That could also be possible. Now of course we have to see other thing as well, but for that full horoscope consultation is required, but generally these things are seen. Like you guys who have Mercury in the third house, you can easily convince people and win over them. Okay, irrespective of Mercury, even if it's afflicted, there is a pretty high chances that you are, at least you will have this ability that you can convince people and win over them with this placement somehow or other. Okay, you know you will notice one thing, that when you have Mercury in the third house, so instead of sitting at your home, if you do some kind of traveling, you will feel much better in traveling. Even if you start your car or anything and you just go to some park and have some walk in the park, okay, maybe at some road trip or something, visiting any place, cafeteria, park. So rather than sitting full day at the home or like doing something from the home, if you just go and travel and do some visit, you will feel more better. You can try this. Naturally you will feel better, because this placement is telling that. Now guys, when Mercury is placed in the third house, like Mercury in the third house, profession that suit to such people are like writing, something to do with writing, something to do with communication, transportation, maybe designing, web designing, publishing, speaking, journalism, traveling. So these are the professions that could be favorable for the person, because these are related to this person's strength who have Mercury in the third house. Uh, it may also possible that when you have Mercury in the third house, then you guys spend a lot of your time in socializing. Okay, you guys will spend a lot of your time in socializing for communication and information purposes. uh, you guys may develop good speaking and writing abilities. That could also be possible. Okay, it may also possible. And uh, if other planets, especially Saturn, is not aspecting, let's say, then maybe from early ages you could be good in communication. But if, let's say, Saturn is aspecting, then generally I have seen with Saturn aspect on this Mercury, then there could be delay. Then maybe you will notice that, like, you may sometimes maybe you notice, or you may see someone chart that, oh my god, in the school this boy is not able to speak anything. He was very shy and introvert, but now as he was in college and graduated or something like that, now this person become extremely extrovert. How is this happening? Because uh, when this person get closer to the age of 30, then Saturn start to lose his grip on this Mercury. So that's when the Mercury qualities start to come out of the third house, because then the person can speak, then the communication, everything. Okay, but if Saturn is not respecting or any other malefics are not, then this person could be good in communication even from the very early young, like the childhood kind of age. That could also be possible. uh, Third house is also important house related to entrepreneurs. Okay, because it's the house of self efforts, self employment, doing something of your own. You may also notice that, with Mercury in the third house, maybe you will want to start something, your startup, your company. So that could also be seen. Okay, because it is sitting in ultimately in the house of self efforts, starting something of your own, doing your own business. These people who have Mercury in the third house, they could be fond of reading books. Maybe they love to read books, maybe gain knowledge, self-help book or any kind of book. That could also be possible. uh, these guys who have Mercury in the third house, these guys use their intellect, okay, to solve problem at the workspace and in general life also. Okay, that could also be possible. um, Now, I would like to recommend one thing. If you have Mercury in the third house, however, then maybe sometime you may face trouble due to your over expressiveness, or I can say you're like, because you have a talkative kind of a personality. So maybe you just start to talk to someone, they are happy, but you start to talk. Maybe you, in talking, you forget that you are revealing your secrets to the other person, and then down the line, though you revealed your secret, and that then the other person misused that. So you have to be careful for that, because Mercury in the third house give you good communication and all that, but when you start to reveal that, and when you become open to the other person, you reveal a lot of things. So you have to be stop. Okay, you have to use your brain and stop yourself at certain point of the time. Okay, when you are talking to someone. uh, so yeah, that could also be seen. Now, Mercury is a very information hungry, creative, curious kind of a planet. So these people, maybe who have Mercury in the third house, maybe they watch news, they try to collect new information, browsing internet, reading blogs, watching videos. So that could also be possible. Okay, with this placement. And yeah, that could be possible. And Mercury in the third house can also give you good sense of humor. Okay, that could also be possible. Now guys, of course the planet which sit in the ninth house will aspect this Mercury directly. Okay, so you have to see that which planet is aspecting Mercury from the ninth house. So as per that, things little bit changes, or I can say more changes. Okay, so you will also have to see. So guys, this is all about Mercury in the third house. If you want personal consultation, links are given in the description. Okay, because other things must also be seen. So if you want consultation, links are given in the description. And now we will talk about what will gonna happen when Mercury is placed in the fourth house of your chart. Beautiful girls and my handsome boys, now we will talk about what will gonna happen when Mercury is placed in the fourth house of your D1 lagna chart. So first of all, what does fourth house represent? Fourth house represent, you know uh, your comforts. Okay, it is the house of your mother. It, we also see your heart from your fourth house. Okay, so yeah, that could also be seen. So fourth house is actually the house of your happiness, your land, or we can say your homeland, your fixed assets, your building, your real estate, your property, your ancestral inheritances, your comfort, your conveniences like car, boats, private jets, plane, etc. Okay, uh, and it can also show like your relationship with your mother. Okay, uh, so overall, like the happiness that you have in your life is the fourth house. Okay, and fourth house in a way is consider, we can consider this as the house of we can say the happiness. Okay, apart from, because it represents thousands of other things as well, but generally you can consider this the house of happiness, right? So what will gonna happen when planet, which is Mercury, is placed in this fourth house? So guys, when Mercury is placed in the fourth house, so it can make you well educated person. Okay, so you can also see that uh, it may also possible that you may notice that when you have Mercury in the fourth house, or anyone have Mercury in the fourth house, it make them kind of a person who can learn things very quickly. Okay, that could also be possible. It may also possible that when you have Mercury in the fourth house, you will be attached to the family and motherland. Okay, that could also be possible. uh, it may also possible that with Mercury in the fourth house, you may be interested in education, uh, you know concerned with all type of communication. Okay, that could also possible. And maybe something to do with telecommunication could also be possible with this placement. Of course, the aspect of other planets on Mercury must be studied. Maybe some other planet is aspecting Mercury, or the planet placed in the 10th house directly aspect the 4th house Mercury. So we have to study that as well. For that, full horoscope consultation is required. Links are given in the description. But generally this can also possible that when Mercury is placed in the 4th house, uh, you may notice that maybe these guys could do business by sitting at their home. Like they have their own home office, and they are working from there. They are doing anything like something of their own, or some home based business could also be seen with this Mercury. Okay, sometime it is also seen that when Mercury is placed in the fourth house of your demon lagna chart, then you guys can do business related to education. Okay, maybe like setting up education institution. Okay, business management, trading, information technology, that could also be possible. As Faldipika says that if a person has Mercury in the fourth house, then according to Faldipika, this person will be learned and witty. Okay, this person will be learned and witty, and he will be possessed of friends, wealth, and happiness. So that could also be seen with this placement of Mercury in the fourth house as per Faldipika. Okay, now guys, as you know, the fourth house of our chart deals with happiness, home, vehicle, land, education, mother, etc. So when Mercury comes here in the fourth house, it can make you a well educated person. Okay, uh, like it may also possible that you could learn things very quickly. Okay, that could also be possible. you know Generally in the Kalpurusha, fourth house is ruled by moon. Why? Because fourth house has the sign of Cancer, whose ruler is moon. So emotions are something that doesn't go along with logical and analytical thinking, and this is the reason why we say that sometimes Mercury doesn't feel comfortable here, because it is sitting in the sign of moon. In a way, not in the sign of moon actually, sorry, in the house of moon. Okay, sign can be different as per your ascendant, but generally the energy of moon is also here. And if you know the story, Mercury doesn't like moon, and the reason is, the story, because moon is like Mercury is the, you know the story, the illegitimate child of moon. So that's the reason. Now This house represent fourth house represent not only the native's childhood and relationship with the parent, but also it show how they are likely to treat their family too. Okay, it relates to your domestic comforts. Okay, so when Mercury is placed in the fourth house, there is a possibility that this person or this native who have Mercury in the fourth house, he or she would work from home. Okay, they are likely to research their roots, custom of their country, details of their ancestors. Okay, either for professional purposes or just for their curiosity, because of course Mercury is sitting here, so it can make you curious about these things which is related to fourth house. So that could also be possible. It may also possible with Mercury when placed in the fourth house that your parents are very intelligent. Okay, and a lot of ideas are usually discussed at home. Okay, which is why the native interest grows in discussion, solving riddles, and reading in general. That could also be possible. Guys, when Mercury is placed in the fourth house, serious bust-ups might take place during debates and argument in case if Mercury is afflicted. So you may also see that. Guys, when Mercury is placed in the fourth house, it makes you it's make your mind focused on your home and family. Okay, uh, here parents, especially the mother, we can say, will play a very important role in in your development, or we can say in the development of the person who have this uh, Mercury in the fourth house. Okay, like the personality, like your personality and encouragement, like definitely your mother may like shape your personality, and she will encourage you to make you more intelligent somehow, doing this or that, so that like your intelligence will definitely increase in a way, or to sharp your intelligence or intellect, we can say. This placement of Mercury in the fourth house would keep the person attached to their home and family. And these people who have Mercury in the fourth house, these people will always stay involved in most of all family matters. You will definitely see that, right? These people who have Mercury in the fourth house, they believe in their family system and they keep them. Okay, native will try to stay and enjoy homely environment, but Mercury representing short trips will keep them engaged in short journeys as well. Okay, uh, also possible, guys, when Mercury is placed in the fourth house, then the person will prefer not to leave, like he or she prefer not to leave their birthplace or country, as their mind will be constantly focused on their home affairs. Okay, the person who have Mercury in the fourth house will have a peaceful and blissful enclosure at home. Okay, guys, one practical thing I would like to tell you that, see, fourth house is ruled by moon in the Kalbrusha Kundli, and Mercury thinks moon as his enemy. Mercury believe that moon is my enemy, right? And that is why Mercury is not like, maybe not feel comfortable here in the fourth house, because it's the house of moon, and Mercury think that moon is my enemy, so definitely it is sitting in its house of enemy in that way. So moon is the planet of emotion, where the Mercury is planet of logic. Both expressions are poles apart, as emotions never have logic. This conflict is also visible in natives education, as Mercury in the fourth house makes the person opt for education which may not be useful in his profession sometime. That could also be possible. For example, if native has studied, let's say, engineering, then like he may join management role. That could be possible. uh, Native might be confused as he is studying, and like what he study, what he should not study. Okay, Mercury will fill his mind with never ending thoughts and make him talk more rather than studying. That could also be possible. Now, guys, although you may also notice that fourth house represent real estate matters, so Mercury will use his intellect and information to deal with family finances and real estate matters. So that could also be possible. So guys, this is all about Mercury in the fourth house. If you want personal consultation, links are given in the description. And now we will talk about what will gonna happen when Mercury is placed in the fifth house of your chart. Beautiful girls and my handsome boys, now we will talk about what will gonna happen when Mercury is placed in the fifth house of your chart. So first of all, what does fifth house represent? Fifth house represent your children. Okay, it is the house of your mind. It represent your intelligence. Okay, it also represent speculation. Okay, it can, like in speculation, it can be anything which is speculative business. Like for example, the first thing is film industry. Of course, film industry is speculation. Why? Because first you're gonna have to invest money in making a movie, a huge budget, and then you don't know whether the movie will be hit or movie will be flop. If movie will be hit, you will get the money, a great money back. If it will be flop, boom, your money will be gone. So that's why it's like a speculation. Then gambling, sports, sports betting or any kind of betting. um, Creativity, like for an example, arts, painting, drawing, sports, creativity, models, charity, a lot of things, especially the love affairs is also seen from the fifth house. Okay, love matters, and romance is seen from the fifth house. Fifth house is the also the house of mantras in spirituality. Okay, we can also see politics, politics related things from the fifth house, and it is actually the house of purva punya bhava, which is like the we can say past life credit. Okay, so fifth house is an important house in your chart. So what will gonna happen when Mercury is placed in the fifth house of your chart? So first of all, I would like to tell you that whichever planet sit in the fifth house of your chart, it directly influence your brain somehow, because somehow it's like the house of the brain as well, right? You will generally see that when Mercury is placed in the fifth house of your chart or anyone's chart, then these guys will be very intelligent and very creative person, very talented person. Okay, well versed in many subjects. That could also be possible. Okay, uh, these people will have a very curious mind. Okay, of learning new things, right? So that could also be seen. uh, Now however, there is a thing that, like these people who have Mercury in the fifth house, they may try to learn everything, and like they it's really hard for them to get expertise in one particular field. Okay, they have this curiosity that they learn many things, like this thing and that thing, then and but it's really hard for them to get expertise in one particular thing, but they have a great knowledge of different things. Okay, so there should be some good aspect, you know uh, of other planet on the Mercury. Of course, if let's say a person have Mercury in the fifth house, okay, and the person is having expertise. So before you said something to me, I would like to tell you that of course if some other good planet is aspecting on this Mercury, then maybe yes, this person is focusing in one particular direction. But generally, Mercury in the fifth house, people, for these people it's really hard to get expertise in one field. Generally they have, you know like focus on multiple field. As you know, this is a creative house, so Mercury here show that these people will be very creative in writing also. Okay, or generally these people are creative. Even in writing, it may possible when you have Mercury in the fifth house, people may like your writing style or love your writing style. That could also be possible. Mercury in the fifth house, if placed in your chart, so it may also possible that you may have interest in speculative business like stock market, horse trading, film industry, maybe anything which is speculative in nature. You might have interest in that, like quick money making kind of a thing. So that could also be possible. Now in the stock market, they will be definitely interested, you know in the technical analysis. If we talk about the stock market, then the people who have Mercury in the fifth house, they will be definitely, you will see, interested in the technical analysis of stock markets, right? Like, where they have to study the stock chart, etc., and all that. So due to Mercury placement in the fifth house, you will definitely see this. uh, so generally Mercury in the fifth house show the children, which can be, or I can say any person, which is very intelligent, creative, multi-talented kind of a person. Okay. And I would like to advise you one thing: if you want to improve your energy, your intelligence, or you are facing problem regarding Mercury thing, like whichever thing Mercury signifies in your chart. Okay. So, or generally whichever Mercury signifies, if you are facing anything problem related to analysis, intelligence, communication, and all that, so one thing you can do, one remedy you can do, is you have to worship Lord Vishnu to improve Mercury energy. Okay, so that Mercury will work good for you and it can give good result to you. So praying to Lord Vishnu is really beneficial. Okay. Uh, Now, guys, Faldipika also say that the person who have Mercury in the fifth house, he or she will be learned person, happy and courageous, and he will be blessed with children. Okay, and he could be good with mantras also, chanting mantras also. That could also be possible. So that is why I said everything particularly for a reason. That is why I said that you can do certain things like prayer mantras of Lord Vishnu, or prayer to the Lord Vishnu is really beneficial for you. Is, fifth house is most likely associated with love affairs, pleasure, amusement, artistic talent, speculation, etc. So Mercury in the fifth house show that like your understanding of having a good time is how you are likely to have fun and how much you are able to enjoy your life. Okay, so that could also be seen with this placement of Mercury in the fifth house. Now presence of this planet Mercury in the fifth house uh, like influence this native to communicate in an artistic manner. His communication could be very artistic. Okay. uh, like these people are blessed with uh, natural talents to express themselves in a way that affect people emotionally. So that could also be seen with this placement of Mercury in the fifth house. Now this native who have Mercury in the fifth house, he or she is likely to have a very intellectual first child. Okay, that means when they like whenever they have their first child, that person, that particular child could be very intellectual. Okay. And you will also see that the first child of this native could have a very strong Virgo or Gemini in their birth chart. That could also be seen. Okay, their first child, I'm talking about the people who have Mercury in the fifth house, their first child could have strong Virgo or Gemini in their chart. Now these guys who have Mercury in the fifth house of their chart, they can like excel at the careers like advertising, PR, politics. Okay. Okay. And or I can say like something to do with communication, they could also excel in that. Okay, so that could also be seen. uh, and I have seen that sometime, like, maybe having a good bond with the children also mattered for them, right? And they could also become good, or I can say excellent teacher as well with Mercury in the fifth house. Okay. uh, it's a combination of Benefic or Exalted Mercury and Sun, here in the fifth house, bless the native with a good result. Okay, in education, and also giving them prestigious professions, prestigious job. Okay, so that could also be seen. And maybe something, if you have Sun Mercury in the fifth house, or something to do with government, that could also be possible in many cases. Okay, so yeah, placement of Mercury in the fifth house represent a good balance between your mind and your emotions. Okay, so like it can make you intellectual and sentimental also. But the best thing is that with Mercury in the fifth house, you have good balance between, uh, I can say, your mind and your emotions. That's really a good thing here with Mercury in the fifth house. Like these people who have Mercury in the fifth house, these guys can easily impress others. You know, I'm telling you again, I'm repeating again. These guys can impress others easily. The people who have Mercury in the fifth house, these guys can impress others easily. You know why? Because like, you know, they will create an entertaining environment wherever they are. Mercury in the fifth house people will somehow or other create such a beautiful entertaining environment that they easily draw like attention, and people somehow or other like them. That could also be possible. These people can be very good writer, speakers, or even artists. Okay, that could also be possible, because fifth house also represent film industry, right? Now guys, besides all this, when you have, besides all this, when you have Mercury in the fifth house, uh like, you would also be quite curious about making social and romantic relationship. Okay, because fifth house also the house of love affairs and relationships, so that could also be possible. So my beautiful girl and my handsome boy, this is all about Mercury in the fifth house. And if you want personal consultation, links are given in the description. And yeah, this is all about this. And now let's talk about what will gonna happen when Mercury is placed in the sixth house of your chart. Okay, my beautiful girls and my handsome boys, now let's just talk about what will gonna happen when Mercury is placed in the sixth house of your chart. So guys, first of all, sixth house, uh what does sixth house represent? Sixth house represent our, like, it is related to health. It is related to, diseases, healing abilities, medical work, your enemies, competition, the people who jealous from you. It is the house from which we see lawsuits, illness, job, diseases, doing service, like something to, like, providing your services to others, your subordinate, uh, you know, nursing, restaurant, uh, catering field, service related work, detail and service related work can also be seen with this, and a lot of other things you can see with the uh, sixth house, like for example debt, for an example conflicts, illness. So yeah, now when, like, what will gonna happen when planet like Mercury come to the sixth house? So when Mercury come to this place, the sixth house, then it show that the intelligence of the person all throughout the life of the person, goes into resolving conflict. Okay, whether it's their personal life conflict or the other people's conflict. Like for an example, whether this person have conflict in their personal life and they just, a lot of their energies, like uh like involve in solving that, or maybe that, you know they are in some position where they have to solve the conflict of other people. So yeah, that could also be seen, or I can say that could be seen with Mercury in the uh, sixth house, right? Now placement of this Mercury in the sixth house can also give the mind to uneasiness and impatience. Okay, this person is at risk of getting health issues like stress and anxiety if it's not well placed here. Okay, uh, so that could also be seen. But generally, when Mercury is there in the sixth house, maybe you have to consistently put efforts to make your mind, uh, like, so to make your mind peaceful. That could also be seen. As when Mercury is placed in the sixth house, it is also seen that uh, this placement brings, like, your inclination towards social services, you know the, like, the services in the social well-being of others, like other people. That could also be possible, maybe the lower class people. Okay, or the people who are unprivileged, you would like to help them, somehow provide your services to them. That could also be possible. Maybe you are helping people in poverty. Okay, or people with, who gets abused or something like that, you just try to help them. That could also be possible. uh, like with Mercury in the sixth house, person logical intelligence goes into resolving these things in analytical manner, right? So yeah, that could also be seen with this Mercury in the sixth house. Now guys, when Mercury is placed in the sixth house, so they may, like, occupy themselves in professions, like for an example, lawyer, doctor, police officer, administrative like officer, politician, social worker, etc. Of course other thing also depend, but generally these things are also seen with this Mercury in the sixth house. Now guys, you should also remember one thing, that Mercury is exalted in the sign of Virgo. Okay, and sign of Virgo is naturally the sixth sign as per the Kalpurusha Kundli. Okay, as per the zodiac, it's the sixth sign. The uh, uh, you know like this Virgo sign is the sixth house as per the Kalpurush Kundi, the natural zodiac, and Mercury get exalted here. Okay, so that energy is also there when Mercury is placed in the sixth house, no matter which ascendant you are. Okay, so somewhat energy of Kalpurush is also there. Now guys, as you know, sixth house signifies giving services to others or doing some service or job. So it may also possible that the people, or like you, who have Mercury in the sixth house, you may work in the areas of maybe financial management, teaching, accounting, etc., where you have to provide your services to other. Okay, that could also be possible. uh, it may also seen that when Mercury is placed in the sixth house, you might be very organized, right? And like that could also be seen in your work. You could be very organized, right? With Mercury placement, it can make you very organized in terms of work, especially. uh, and because of your organizational capabilities, you are always loved by your bosses, so when Mercury come in the sixth house, it can make you very organized in your workplace, due to which your bosses really love you or like you guys. So that could also be seen with this placement. Also, like with when Mercury comes to sixth house, these people try to avoid any kind of conflict, especially at their work. Okay, they just try to avoid that. Okay, that could also be seen with this placement. Also, Mercury in the sixth house show that you guys will try to balance your work environment. Okay, you will try to create balance at your work environment. That could also be seen. uh, you know Also, with Mercury in the sixth house, you guys will be selfless in your work, and you may also work for some charity organization, apart from their, like your regular work. Like for an example, you are doing some any profession, your job, etc., but simultaneously you are taking part in some organization where you are helping poor people or needy people. So that could also be seen with this placement of Mercury in the sixth house. Like, you guys will help others who need help. Okay, that could be possible. uh, Generally it is seen that, when Mercury come in the sixth house, so you guys generally have very less enemies. Okay, because of the quality of Mercury of communication, etc., you have generally very less or negligible type of enemies. That could also be seen with this placement, so that's really a good thing. You might be good at, like, diplomacy, and also your persuasive skills could be very good with this Mercury, and also the communication. So generally, due to which, uh, like, you guys just somehow diplomatically deal with your enemies. So in that way, that is why it is seen that you guys generally have very less enemies. So yeah, that could also be seen with Mercury in the sixth house. Now guys, Mercury in sixth house is generally considered good, by the way. Mercury is a smart, talkative, intelligent kind of a planet. That's what it make you. Okay? Okay. It can make you a person who use logics to resolve problems. Okay, and peaceful solution by discussing issues. Okay, this is the best placement for, like, diplomats, lawyer, right? You may also see that sixth house is one of the Upacha houses. So here Mercury in its own sign will gain power in its, like, strength. And also these qualities, you will see that as soon as you grow, this grow better with the time. right? uh, Now also sixth house represents giving service to others. So native who have Mercury in the sixth house will be very quick to learn new things. Okay, keeping herself or himself, uh, updated with the new knowledge that could be seen, and adapting, like he could have very adapting kind of a nature to new technologies. Quickly in his work, he just like try to adopt new things, that could also be seen. uh, and also regarding their project, etc., they are very updated. Okay, and Mercury is a very fast moving planet, so hence these people, or I can say these native, are fast enough to change their jobs with higher paycheck. So like for example, you are doing job somewhere, and boom, you are seeing some other offers with higher paycheck. You are like, boom, okay, let's do it. And then after some time, you are like, boom. So people may think, oh my god, this person is very changing, is changing job or work very quickly. So that could also be seen with this placement. uh, but yeah, one advice I would like to give you, that if you have Mercury in the sixth house, you have to be really careful regarding anxiety. You have to really take care of your mental health, okay, and your nervous system overall, because that's what Mercury here can affect, overall nervous system and your mental health. So you have to be careful about that, right? That's what I can advise you. I see, if let's say planet like sun or Mars comes with this Mercury in the sixth house, then it can make you a very argumentative type of person. Then things will become different. Okay, because then it's not the Mercury and juice, then it's with the Mercury, Mars and Sun, like the combination or conjunction juice. So then the result will be different. Now Jupiter is good, with the Mercury for professional results, but for health it might not be. uh, you know uh, Mercury with Venus could promote lustful activities also, because then it become more lustful in the, especially in the sixth house. Maybe you know a lot of affairs at work, and that could also be seen. If Venus come, and like a lot of things, not necessarily. Of course, other thing could also be seen, but generally Venus, Mercury make a person lustful. Mercury with Saturn could be good for like maybe software sector. Mercury with Moon could be good for profession, but for mental health is it become more worse, because not only Mercury is in the sixth house, now Moon is also in the sixth house, so it can create more depressing kind of state. And yeah, other planet may also play their role as per their nature. So yeah, this is all about Mercury in the sixth house. My beautiful girls and my handsome boys, if you want personal consultation, links are given in the description. And now let's talk about what will gonna happen when Mercury plays in the seventh house of your chart. Okay, my beautiful girls and my handsome boys, now let's talk about what will gonna happen when Mercury plays in the seventh house of your chart. So what does seventh house represent? Seventh house, of course, first of all, it represents your married life, it represents your spouse, your partner, your sexual possessions, uh, partners of any kind, like the business partner. Like, it's the house of your partner also. It's the house how other people see you. Okay, it can show your talent in trading, in business. Okay, your tendency to live in foreign countries is also seen from the seventh house, right? And a lot of other things can be seen with the seventh house. The seventh house is relatively simple in that it is essentially the house of marriage and partnership. In general, it reveals the quality of married life as well as the condition of the spouse, like the nature of the spouse, and a lot of things about, although for that other things we have to see as well. It also governs the business talents and the desire to trade. Okay, that could also be seen. So yeah, now uh, in some cases we also see, like, of course, the travel and also the sexual relationship from this. Now see, this house show all sort of partnerships, including the business partnerships, marriage, right? It describe what kind of husband wife, like like the partner you will have, the spouse you will have. Okay, and it is also show that if you're likely to be successful in business or in partnership or not. Okay, now the placement of Mercury in this seventh house represent that you will spend a lot of time thinking about other half. Okay, and the idea of marriage. right? Which means you spend a lot of time thinking about your partner. Okay, when Mercury come to the seventh house, and also the marriage, of course, like the idea of marriage maybe. When Mercury come to seventh house, it blesses you with intellectually superior and sharp-minded partner. You will definitely see that. Uh, Now you may fall for the people who are maybe, humorous and knowledgeable. Maybe communication is really important for your partner. When Mercury comes to seventh house, she could be very, or he or she could be very communicative, intelligent, intellectual kind of person could be seen. Okay, and for marriage, communication become really important when Mercury comes to seventh house. Okay, maybe kind of a traveling that could also be seen, although that's more like a wound, but still, yeah. uh, Now, of course, the condition of Mercury in the second house, the aspect of other planet, we have to see all that. Well, that will tell us that, the overall things. But generally, yeah, this is also seen with Mercury in the seventh house. Now, the spouse of the native, like your spouse who have Mercury in the seventh house, your spouse could be a writer, poet, journalist, or any other profession, you know which is under the like Mercury profession or Mercury attribute related profession could be seen with this placement. And definitely when Mercury comes to seventh house, then the communication between you and your partner, that's become really somehow important for you guys. Now, this placement can give you a partner, a spouse who is constantly on phone, maybe texting or speaking non-stop. That could also be seen. And since the seventh house, like in the Kalpurusha Kundi, seventh house has the sign of Libra, which is ruled by planet Venus. So in a way, Mercury is sitting in its friend's house, the seventh house of Venus. No matter which zodiac you are, I'm talking as per the Kalpurusha Kundli. So it's in a way in a friendly house here. So the house, so the Venus energy is definitely here. So Mercury is a talkative planet. Okay, it's the planet of logic and intelligence. So there could be a strong urge of communication with the partner regarding the new ideas and perspective, even if the other person do not want to listen. Okay, but still the communication is really important over here. Now, see, Mercury in the seventh house could also show that in the bed while you are having time with your partner, maybe there is a lot of chit chat and communication goes on. And since Mercury has a dual nature, so it could also be possible that you could likely to have more than one relationship in your life. So that could also be possible. Like maybe first you have certain relationship, that maybe down the line you get married to a person, that could be possible. And the other case could also be true, that you could just first married and then you have affair, depending upon situation, other situation, of course. Not everyone who have Mercury in the seventh house have this situation, but still chances are there, depending upon like how other planets are respecting and where it is placed in nakshatra, etc. Now, when Mercury comes to the seventh house, the some trait will benefit you in the business partnership contract, you know and like other things. So that could also be seen. Mercury is a business minded and articulate kind of a planet. Okay, so Mercury is a good planet to handle these delicate and critical matters. So in terms of business, it is considered to be good over here. Okay, the placement will of Mercury in the seventh house, the placement of Mercury in the seventh house will give good knowledge of law to you guys. That could also be seen. Okay. uh, Now guys, overall, although it is also seen that if let's say this Mercury is retrograde in the seventh house, then this Mercury maybe give you a nature of over analyzing thing, overthinking about maybe relationship, marriage, and everything. You are just over analyzing, spending a lot of time in unnecessary thinking. Sometimes that could also be slain. Okay. uh, Now if let's say with this Mercury, Mars sit in the seventh house, then there could be some harshness and aggressiveness in the communication. Okay, even in the marriage and partnership, both in the business, marriage, both, you can see that. Okay, so that could also be seen. Let's say if Mercury sit with the Venus in the seventh house, then it might be good for your romance. Okay, so that could also be seen. So yeah, in the way like other planet influence can change the things. So also guys, when Mercury comes to 7th house, it can make you youthful and talented individual. Why? Because when it's come to 7th house, it also aspect the first house by its 7th aspect. So definitely it can make you youthful and talented person. Okay, you could be very conscious of your public image, like how people see me and this and that could be possible. uh, like your spouse could be very beautiful and intelligent, well behaved, and a diplomatic kind of a person. Okay, she could have adjustable nature or he could have adjustable nature, and yeah, that could also be seen. uh, Now Mercury is a generally neutral planet, so they could have, your spouse could have a balance in masculine and feminine energies. Now generally Mercury in the 7th house is good for business. Okay, so that could also be possible. Now of course we have to see other things as well, but generally this is seen. Also it is seen that when Mercury is placed in the 7th house, the person could be learned, decently dressed. So guys, this is all about Mercury in the 7th house. If you want personal consultation, links are given in the description. And now let's talk about what will gonna happen when Mercury is placed in the 8th house of your chart. So guys, first of all, what does 8th house represent? 8th house represent transformation, ups and downs. It represent death. It represent longevity of life as well. Okay, it represents wills and legacies. It represents insurance. It represents benefits. It represents partners, like finances, your spouse finances. Okay, it represents money from your partner. Okay, it represents money from unearned sources. Okay, unearned sources. Okay, it is connected to the banking institution as well. Okay, it gets connected to occult sciences like this astrology, secret matter, anything which is hidden. Something like sexy appearance can also be seen with the 8th house. Sex, like, something like that could be seen. Sexual strength, and yeah, and could be accident, or like many other things could also be seen with the 8th house, right? Like sudden gains, lottery, and a lot of other things, and your in-laws. All these things can be seen from the 8th house. Now what will gonna happen when planet like Mercury comes in the 8th house? Now guys, when Mercury comes to 8th house, it may possible that you may choose to dig deeper into the fields of astrology, as the naturally you have the ability to understand things behind the curtain easily. Okay, so that's why maybe you have the interest to dig deep and to find the secrets of astrology. Okay, that could be possible. Generally, like, they it said that this placement of Mercury in the 8th house can give you good result related to profession, finances, spiritual growth, you know and like maybe even health. So that could also be seen. Now 8th house in Vedic astrology rules over sudden event, right? Longevity, death. This house is also the house of joint sources and inherited money and property from your in-laws. Now guys, one amazing thing about this placement of Mercury in the 8th house, you will see that this native maybe love uncovering the secret of other people. Like if there is a secret of other people, he love to uncover that and to show to everyone. But they keep their own secret very well. This is so funny. Like they just hide their own secret but uncover other people's secret, right? So that could also be seen with this placement. It may also be seen that when Mercury sit in the 8th house, it directly aspect your second house of like your speech, etc., and your voice. Okay, with its 7th aspect. So a native, this person who have Mercury in the 8th house, can be brilliant. Okay, in regards to speech, he could have very influential speech. He or she could have very influential speech, even though uh, like maybe they are not very educated about the subject. Let's say someone is discussing something and they don't have very good knowledge of that, but even then they give such a good speech that people will be so amazed by them. That could also be possible. Okay, uh, and like they have such qualities regarding speaking that they could easily make themselves as an authoritative figure. Okay. uh, and this person could have a fascination to use this great natural ability for the manipulation of public. Okay, that could also be seen. Like even if they don't have the knowledge of a particular subject, with their speech they just influence people. So that could also be like seen with this placement. Now, when Mercury comes to 8th house, this native might be ambitious to work in areas like taxes, managing other people's resources, insurance, and so on. Okay, that could also be seen with this placement. Now, 8th house is complicated for Mercury like planet because Mercury is way too fast and versatile for 8th house feature. That is why Saturn is best suited here. Mercury in the 8th house has its benefit as well as drawback, of course. Okay, 8th house represent research, interest in mystical science, litigations, you know, and easy gains like unexpected gains, analytical kind of a thing, you know, easy gain things. Now, here, the analytical and logical Mercurian mind, okay, of a person who have Mercury in the 8th house, the analytical and logical mind of that person can do well, and he or she will able to go deep into the subject and uncover the truth and the secret. So in that way it's good. Okay, these natives are very good to uncover any hidden facts. Okay, at the same time they can keep their secret safe. That is really an amazing thing again. Okay, uh, like, you know, using their speech they can make people believe anything, like they have some special thing regarding that. uh, and you may also notice that these people who have Mercury in the 8th house, they may love to talk about the topics like spirituality, death, life. You know, that could also be possible. Mercury in the 8th house is great placement for finances and working in government organization. Okay, maybe financial or government like related organization, that could also be seen. uh, it is not uncommon that people with such a placement have a career as an accountant for government, or in tax department in banks, or in big multinational companies. Okay, although you may also notice that these people can be good astrologer, researcher, detective, spy, writer, psychologist, lawyer, stockbroker, and accountant, etc. So that could also be seen with this placement. However, if Mercury is not good in the chart, then these people may use the secret and occult sciences against the people to harm them. That's really a thing. Then, like, you know, there are some negative way also to learn siddhis and power, etc. So sometimes that could also be possible. And yeah, uh, now overall matters of 8th house are best keep and deal as a secret, but Mercury kind of a nature may often leak such information due to his talkative nature. So native with Mercury in the 8th house should try to should try their level best not to leak their knowledge or their secrets to other. Okay, that's really important. 8th house deal with longevity, transformation, sudden event, etc. So they will be like people who have Mercury in the 8th house, they will be intelligent, well versed with many subjects. They will have a research oriented mind. They will be interested in the occult like astrology, tantra, etc. Even the tantra, etc. Here Mercury gave the intelligence to study deep into the subject. If they meditate, you know, if they meditate, they will easily gain intuitive power. That's really a like amazing thing you should understand. If you meditate, you have Mercury in the 8th house, you can easily gain intuitive powers. You may also have a philosophical bend of mind. That could also be possible. uh, you will not take anything on the face value. Okay, you will research on the subject for deep insight. That could also be possible. Okay, it will be difficult for anybody to win debates with such people who have Mercury in the 8th house, because they will have knowledge of any subject, you know. But generally, you know, like they are actually, I personally think more than a, like, although in 8th house they go deep in the knowledge, but Mercury nature is generally to get a lot of, like, knowledge about different things. So they have knowledge about different subjects. Okay, so generally they are good in manipulating, and by their speech something like that could be seen. So guys, this is all about Mercury in the 8th house. Okay guys, this is all about Mercury in the 8th house. If you want personal consultation, links are given in the description. And now let's talk about what will gonna happen when Mercury is placed in the 9th house of your chart. My beautiful girls and my handsome boys, now we will discuss what will gonna happen when Mercury is placed in the 9th house of your chart. First of all, what does 9th house correspond to? Okay, means what does 9th house represent? Ninth house is the house of your dharma. Okay, ninth house relate to religion, philosophy. It is the house of your gurus. Okay, it represent your college, your university, your higher education, like for example masters, or like masters or PhD, whatever you do. It represent long distance journeys. It represent pilgrimage. It represent your luck, your fortune. Okay, it represent that. And of course it represent a lot of other things. It is really an important house because it is one of the like trikona houses, right? So yeah, it represent your fortune, your luck also, like how lucky you are, like your bhagya, right? That we also see from the ninth house. And a lot of other things we also see, like for example a college professor, right, from the ninth house. So yeah, these are the things that we see from the ninth house, and a lot of other things as well. Ninth house is also concerned with group thoughts and self-expression. It is about long journeys, higher learnings, okay, religious and spiritual inclination, good karma, ethics and value. These things are also seen in from the ninth house. It represents the journeys towards the unknown, okay, to find what is beyond, in higher place than all of us. Okay. uh, Now when you have Mercury in the ninth house, this native mind is quick and easily understand abstract concepts. Okay, these people enjoy having intellectual conversation with the people, also like in like any conversation about education, travel, social trend, etc. You can also notice that. Now placement of planet Mercury shows that one's great inclination towards spiritual learning. That could also be seen with this placement of Mercury in the ninth house. This person is actually become a spiritual speaker due to the effect of Mercury in the ninth house. Okay, there is a significant chance that this native may have to travel and settle abroad, okay, for maybe his higher study or like for his business, right? Like 100% the settlement we will see from the other thing as well, but at least this person for certain amount of the time have to maybe travel to foreign places, long distance travel. That could be possible, maybe for studies, maybe for other things, right? That could be possible. This person may have strong inclination maybe towards spirituality, traveling, higher studies, philosophies, litigation, foreign affairs, and so on. Okay, so like in this position of Mercury in the ninth house, like the professions like teacher, professor, lecturer, spiritual leader, right, foreign diplomat, okay, these kind of a profession are also seen when someone have Mercury in the ninth house of their chart. Okay, now Mercury in the ninth house, you know uh, it may also possible with this placement that native may be interested in higher studies, okay, and especially learning something from different, maybe in like different country, like in foreign land. Maybe he or she wants to do their higher education from foreign lands, or learning some foreign language. That could be possible. This position can make you a successful lecturer or professor also. That could be possible in your chart, right? Also, Mercury in the ninth house makes the person like to use their logic to question the existing spiritual and philosophical, religious, like social norms or tradition and custom. So maybe like like someone is saying that we have to do this into a certain way. They're like, why we have to do in a certain way? We can do it in a different way as well, but why we have to only do prayer at this particular time? God is in, like, God is everywhere. We can pray to the God anytime. So like something different could be seen, like they may question the social norms. That could also be possible. Okay. uh, Now in some cases it is also seen that if, let's say, Mercury is influenced by some other planets and like very afflicted, then these person can become rigid about their view. Okay. They may try to they may advocate to change things, okay, into certain things related to ninth house. So that could also be possible. Okay. uh, Now generally it is also seen that due to this placement of this Mercury in the ninth house, these people may make good lawyers, okay, judge and priest also, right? That could also be possible. Now it is generally seen that people with this placement of Mercury in the ninth house are generally well educated. Okay. They will always try to like learn higher wisdom. Okay. They are people not just who follow religion blindly. Rather they find a reason to follow any ritual, any belief, etc. Like for example, they like actually, because Mercury is the sitting in the ninth house, so they apply their own logical mind to decode the religion. Like, okay, this thing is happening. Okay, this thing is happening into this particular thing. Okay, like for example, if someone tell you that with this placement that you have to do this ceremony, ritual or whatever, you are like, what the hell is that? This is all bullshit. But once you, like, someone explain you or you understand it, okay, this is the particular reason, this is the logic behind doing that, and that makes sense to you, then you are like, okay, now it is like understandable, now I have to do it. So there is a kind of a situation over here, it makes. Okay. So yeah, like you guys may apply your logical mind to decode religion. That could be possible. Sometimes it is also seen that you guys are honest, like who have Mercury in the ninth house, follow morality, right? So that could also be possible. Uh, like you guys maybe teach and preach. Generally, this thing is also seen. Okay. Your teaching will always be interesting to others. Like when you have Mercury, or when anyone have Mercury in the ninth house, with Mercury in the ninth house, it is seen that their teaching could be interesting to others. Okay, they may use their intelligence and higher learning for business purposes. That could be possible. They will also be very charitable and very compassionate people. That could be possible. The father of this native may also have some business skill. Could also be possible. Okay, or maybe good intelligence, right? That could also be possible. Now it is also seen generally that with the placement of Mercury in the ninth house, the person could be learned, wealthy, religious minded. Okay. So yeah, these things are also seen with this placement. So guys, this is all about Mercury in the ninth house. Mercury, if you want personal consultation, links are given in the description. And now we will talk about what will gonna happen when Mercury is placed in the 10th house of your chart. Okay, so my beautiful girls and my handsome boys, now let's see what will gonna happen when Mercury is placed in the 10th house of your chart. So first of all, what does 10th house represent? 10th house is an Artha house. Okay, so 10th house is an Artha house. It represents your career, it represents your profession, your career, your fame, your honor, your status, right? It represents government. Okay, it represents also good deeds, activities like benefiting society. It also show authoritative figures. It also show government officials. Okay, so it is mainly like the house which is governed, like you, like it is associated with your career, right? So it is a kind of a house that like somehow tell you like the kind of a work you do, right? Your profession, your prestige, reputation, position, status, karma, whatever. Although for the Saturn etc is also important, but yeah, this thing is also there. So now what will gonna happen when Mercury come to this 10th house? Now, native with this placement of Mercury in the 3rd house usually choose a career related to speaking and writing. So if you have Mercury in the 10th house, definitely there could be some speaking or writing involved in your career. Okay, maybe domination of speaking and writing could also be seen, or maybe career, which is like mainly like a speaking and writing type of career. And in fact, it is also seen that when Mercury come to the 10th house, you guys might have more than one career. Okay, and that is at the same time. So like maybe you at one, like for example, on one hand you are a teacher. Let's say you have Mercury in the 10th house, you are a teacher. At the same time you are also writing a book, and your book become like you just also a writer and you are making money by that. So maybe more than one career can be seen with this, or maybe you started some side business, right? So along with your main profession, or like more than one career can be seen with this placement, in simple words. Okay, also it's easy for you to get along with different kind of a people because of your superior communication skills. So this, like what is telling us, that this placement of Mercury in the 10th house also make your communication skills good, right? Due to which it like help you to get in contact with different kind of a people, right? So that's really helpful for you. But although for the communication skills we also have to see the third house and the second house, of course, especially the third house, which planets are aspecting that, where are sitting that. So as per that things change, but yeah, generally this is seen with the Mercury in the third house, oh sorry, Mercury in the 10th house. So for that, of course, full horoscope consultation is required. Links are given in the description. So yeah, now it is likely that this native who have Mercury in the third house is versatile, and this person know exactly when and how to manipulate their speech in order to influence a different kind of people. Okay, so that is the special ability you have. You can manipulate your speech in order to influence different type of people. Okay, so that could also be seen, right? Because Mercury have that ability of like mimicry or manipulation. Okay, that could be possible, especially if Rahu is also somehow connected with this Mercury, then this person will be very clever. Okay, this can make you a very clever person then, right? If you use that cleverness in some positive work, then it's really good for you. Otherwise, so yeah, the position of this Mercury in the 10th house is fairly favorable, okay, for the people belonging to the field of like politics, writing, media personalities, publishing, and so on. All these kind of a people, uh, you know like such people, for such people this position could be favorable, right? It may also possible that with Mercury in the 10th house, this person may have to travel a lot, mostly because of your profession. You may have to travel. Okay, you may use your knowledge wisely to stay ahead in anything you do. uh, so yeah, like whether it's your career or even in journal, you use your knowledge wisely to stay ahead in whatever you do. Now guys, people who have Mercury in the 10th house can opt for the career like journalism, media jobs. They may start something of their own business, maybe sales, marketing, publishing house, news, finances, accounting, research, etc. So that could also be possible. Now, like this placement of Mercury is better if Mercury is accompanied by some planet in the house, like because alone Mercury is generally like we can say too weak for the features of the 10th house. Okay, so especially in the 10th house, it is seen that if Mercury is accompanied by like another planet is conjunct, then that planet qualities also somehow Mercury adapt, and then it can give good results regarding that. But alone Mercury in the 10th house is mainly related to this, um, these stuffs which I have discussed earlier in this video. But generally, if another planet is conjunct, then it's better. Now guys, for an example, let's say Mercury is conjunct with Sun in the 10th house, right? So it create a Buddhadikya yoga in the 10th house. It could be good for you, maybe getting favors from the government or gaining some government position. Even you see many politicians who have that, maybe something to do with finances. Okay, that could also be possible. And or like economics, right? And then if Mercury is with Moon, right? So It is better doing business related to liquid such as petroleum, chemical, water, anything liquid kind of a business, or maybe travel, right? So that could be possible. Mercury with Mars in the 10th house can give a great career in information technology or as a surgeon, right? That could also be possible, information technology or as a surgeon. Mercury with the Jupiter in the 10th house is, we can say, great role as a lecturer or a diplomat. Okay, maybe you're a professor, lecturer, or a diplomat also in some foreign country. That could be possible. Mercury with Venus is a great for career related to cosmetic, music, art, maybe creativity, film industry, jewelry, okay, or any other business which is related to Venus, right? Mercury, Mercury with the Rahu in the 10th house can make one politician. Yes, because Mercury Rahu combination can make a person very extremely clever and manipulative. So it is good for the politics, right? So yeah, that can make a person politician as well, right? Mercury with Ketu right here in the 10th house will give spiritual effects, of course. Okay, now since Mercury is a fast moving planet, it may also give fast moving career, having many job changes. Okay, Mercury is a very fast thinker. When it comes to opt for the best career or change in career due to any reason, Mercury will take sure that the new career things bring more opportunity, more money, and more learning, right? So you will also see with this placement of Mercury such things. Now, like when Mercury is placed in the 10th house, it is said generally that the person will be learned, powerful, wise, happy, virtuous. Okay, and maybe he or she will stick to their words. Okay, so that could also be possible. Now, guys, you may also see that 10th house represent our, like it indicates, or represent our karma, actions, activity, career, etc. Mercury is about youthfulness, and 10th house is about action. So naturally, like you people who have Mercury in the 10th house, you will be very action oriented people. Whatever you do with uh, enthusiasm. Okay, your communication, or these people who have Mercury in the 10th house, their communication and intelligence uh, power will blossom here. Okay, because the 10th house signifies public life. Okay, you will do excellent in profession. Your profession can be related to karaka of Mercury, which is, like I told you earlier, communication, media, and all that kind of, any communication and writing and all that kind of stuff, or maybe teaching, professor, lecturer. That could be possible. uh, you might be highly ambitious people. Okay, and you may want to reach at heights. That could be possible. Now it is also seen that Mercury is in the 10th house can make you a very multi-talented person. So you could have talent or different things. That's why I also said that it can give you multiple business also. Okay, you could have craving for learning different subject, interest in different subject could also be seen with this placement. Now Mercury in the 10th house may also, it is also seen, I have seen that with when Mercury sit in the 10th house, then these guys may do a lot of changes in their career. Okay, because Mercury is a fast moving planet, so it is really hard for you guys to just stick on one particular work. So there could be changes of in your work that could be possible. So guys, this is all about Mercury in the 10th house. I hope this video helped. If you want personal consultation, links are given in the description. And now let's talk about Mercury in the 11th house. Okay, my beautiful girls and my handsome boys, now we will talk about what will gonna happen when Mercury is placed in the 11th house of your chart. Okay, so first of all, what does 11th house represent? 11th house 11th house is actually the house of your gains. Okay, like the benefits that you get, the gains you get in your life is 11th house. Okay, it is the house of your desires, right? uh, it is the house of your ambitions. It represents your friend circles, groups. Okay, it also represents your elder sibling. Okay, it represents large sums of money that you gain, wealth gain. Okay, and it represents opportunity. Okay, and it also represents like the incoming of money and wealth. Like the saving is seen from the second house, but the incoming of that money is seen from the 11th house. So 11th house is the gateway by which money enter, and then the second house is that locker in which the money save. Okay, and of course your elder sibling is also 11, like we see that from the 11th house. 11th house is strong indicator of incoming gain, prosperity, sudden profit, and your social circle also, your network circles. So all these things are seen from the 11th house, your hopes, wishes, desire, etc. So what will gonna happen when planet like Mercury is placed in the 11th house of your chart? So first of all, when Mercury is placed in the 11th house of your chart, uh, it may possible that you may likes to take qualities of your friends and social circle. Okay, you may adapt or take the qualities of your friends and social circle. Okay, it may possible. uh, this house also rules over your interest, hopes and wishes. Okay, so when planet which is Mercury is placed here in the 11th house, you guys love to exchange ideas with the people, and you are always open to learn. Okay, or I can say, we can say that you are always open to learning and exchanging ideas. Moreover, you are always ready for interesting discussions. Okay, something that would challenge the mind. That could also be seen with the Mercury in the 11th house. It may possible that you guys may excel in career related to information technology. Okay, when Mercury is placed in the 11th house, and especially in the case of exalted Mercury, a career in the scientific field, okay, could also be good for you, or I can say very best for you. Now you may also see that if, let's say, Mercury here is malefically like influence, or I can say afflicted Mercury in the 11th house if placed, then this native or this person idea might be very impractical. Okay, very impractical idea, but these people may use their intelligence in order to influence people for their selfish reason. Right, that could also be seen with Mercury in the 11th house. It may possible that these natives may accidentally attain great wealth through some communication activities. Okay, like for an example, maybe some speaking skills, writing skills. So by using the activities of Mercury, these guys can also attain good wealth. When Mercury is placed in the 11th house, that could also be seen. Now, if however Mercury is retrograde, then the native feels a sense of detachment from the worldly desires, and it may possible that this Mercury retrograde can also give you inclination towards spirituality. Right, that could also be seen with Mercury in the 11th house when retrograde. Guys, 11th house is one of the Upachya houses, which means it grow better with the time. Okay, so placement of Mercury here, you know, it indicates that Mercury increasing its natural karak tattva. So Mercurian qualities are suitable for this house provided it is good shape here. Mercury people are attractive with good physical features, so the native with this placement may have a charming personality. That could also be seen. Okay, now guys, it is also seen that when Mercury is placed here in the 11th house, this person could have enhanced intellect. Right, that could also be seen. Now it may also possible if Mercury is very malefically influenced over here in the 11th house or afflicted, then this person may use their intelligence for the negative things like doing fraud with other people, doing scams. Okay, that could also be seen. Now guys, Mercury is the planet of somehow like jolly nature, friendships and friends, and 11th house is the house of your friends. Okay, so this placement may give a lot of friends. Okay, as Mercury is in the house of community, so it will keep making a lot of friends. Okay, even for a shorter duration. Right, this networking will help gain help this person to gain financially, as the native will have many friends and great number of contacts. So definitely through network circles, through contact, this person could gain money also. That could also be seen. Okay, guys, in some cases it is also seen that when Mercury is placed in the 11th house, this native could be a good writer, speaker, or some entrepreneur, right? That could also be seen with this placement. He will have good education, he or she will have good education, which will help them in their profession. Okay, and like the career, that could also be seen. It is also seen that when Mercury is placed in the 11th house, this placement enables you to earn money from the trade and commerce. Okay, the legal profession, or any job where literally we can say the legal profession, or any job where mathematical abilities are needed. Okay, person can also make money by that, so that could also be seen. Now this person who have Mercury in the 11th house, he will have good support from his co-workers. Okay, that could also be possible. He could win over his enemy. That could also be possible. Now of course Mercury should be well placed here, then the situation will be more favorable, of course. Okay, and for that full horoscope consultation is required. Links are given in the description. uh, Now, this placement of Mercury in the 11th house, if it is well placed, then it can also show that the person could get support from his elder sibling or her elder sibling. So, that could also be seen. Now, guys, since 11th house is the house of desire, so this native who have Mercury in the 11th house could have strong desire for material success or material happiness. Okay. Now, in some cases, it is also seen that this placement make you, like if you have Mercury in the 11th house, this placement can make you very egoistic. Okay, you may start to think yourself very supreme person, like supreme to others. So I want to recommend you that if you like somehow that ego is start to develop inside you, you must have to be very alert that okay, due to this Mercury, this ego is developing inside me, and I have to just overcome this problem, because otherwise it is not good for you. Because sometimes it is also seen that this can give you ego, that I am supreme to others, so you have to avoid that. Now, guys, when Mercury is placed in this 11th house of gain, desire, and achievement, uh, like in this placement, when Mercury in the 11th house, a native will be very socializing kind of a person. Okay, he or she may likes to socialize, that could be possible. Okay, it can give you a very like many friends. Mercury in the 11th house can give you many friends. Okay, you guys will be very highly ambitious and have a positive attitude, that could also be possible. Okay, uh, your network circle could be very vast, that could be possible. Okay, uh, they are the kind of a people whom everyone calls up to for the help, that could be possible. And also we can say that in today's scenario, we can say that these people who have Mercury in the 11th house, they will always be busy on the phone, right? Because of communication, that could also be possible. Now, apart from that, when Mercury is placed in the 11th house, other Mercurian qualities are abundant in them. That could also be seen. Okay, like they will be creative and they can have many sources of income. When Mercury is placed in the 11th house, here you may also see that it will make you creative person and you could have many sources of income. They could be good in speculative business like stock market, etc., but for that, of course, full horoscope consultation is required, right? But this is one of the indications we can say. Okay, because in the 11th house it can make you quick in the decision making, etc., but of course full horoscope consultation is required, because if let's say Saturn is expecting this, then the scenario change, because then it make you a little bit slow, not that much quick. So that could also be seen, right? For that full horoscope consultation is required. Links are given in the description. Okay, now this also show that they will do good as a teacher, like Mercury in the 11th house can make you a good teacher, good public speaker, or trainer of some kind. That could be possible, like give you good teaching skills. So that could also be possible. Now in some cases it is also seen that Mercury in the 11th house when placed, then these people may be involved in activity like diplomatic, communicator, interpreter, press reporter, editor, these things are also seen, right? So guys, this is all about Mercury in the 11th house. If you want personal consultation, links are given in the description. And now let's talk about Mercury in the 12th house. Hey my beautiful girl and my handsome boys, now let's discuss what will gonna happen when Mercury is placed in the 12th house of your chart. So first of all, what does 12th house represent? 12th house represent self-realization, final liberation, the moksha, the enlightenment. It represents higher consciousness. It represents expenditure. It represents expenses. It represents misfortune. It represents it represents suffering, right? It represents problems. But in today's world, it also represents foreign countries, traveling to foreign lands. It represents bad pleasures, okay? And it also represents all those like your prison, hospital, and a lot of other things like 12th house represent, okay? And it can also show all the imagination, your subconscious mind, talents or secret that are hidden, okay? From that, like what you have discussed, the hidden talent, right, imagination, these things are also seen with the 12th house. When Mercury is placed in the 12th house of your chart, this is a good, or I can say great placement for the native to explore his or her subconscious, so for, we can say, exploring their subconscious, it is a good placement. But it's important to not lose the balance. It gives the native ability to establish subconscious connection with the other mysterious realm of life, okay? This native is highly imaginative and representative in their life, right? Who have Mercury in the 12th house, this person, he or she will be highly imaginative and representative. They understand the power of speech, okay? And they use their word and excellent communicative, or I can say communication skills quite carefully, okay? Afflicted Mercury here may give this person some mental instability, okay, as a result of which they even might get like problem related to brain, etc. Or like if you also understand, if let's say this is highly afflicted here, then what will gonna happen? You will have mental stability, and then when person have so much a mental stability, whether this person have to go to hospital or doctor, or this person in that case do some crime, of course then he will be in prison, and that's what he's talking about. But if it's working, like, it totally depends upon how it is working, right? So yeah, now it is also seen that when Mercury is placed in the 12th house, these people are likely to master their higher learning in the subject regarding astrology, occult sciences, religion, spirituality, right? This is also seen with this placement. Now, although if you see as per Kalapurusha Kundli, 12th house is the house of Pisces, okay? No matter which ascendant you are, if we see as per the Kalpurush Kundli, 12th house has the energy of Pisces sign, okay? So like, because Mercury here get debilitated, so this is not a very good placement, not an ideal placement for Mercury, we can say. So it is also seen that sometime when this Mercury is not working very well here, so because somehow see because some energies of Kalpurusha Pisces are here when the Mercury is placed in the 12th house. So it is also seen that these people could have communication problem, they could have lack of knowledge in their life, okay? That could also be possible. And Mercury is the planet of business, okay? So it may also possible that, like, I would like to advise you, if you are doing business and you have Mercury in the 12th house, you have to be very careful in the business, okay? Like, if let's say you have some other placement or also wrong, then maybe people may do fraud with you in the business, etc., and you may lose your money. So you have to be careful. Like, this is the thing I can only say here, that if you have Mercury in the 12th house and you are in business, you have to be extremely careful. Okay, even in the job you have to be careful, like with the people. Now, because Mercury in the 12th house may also give you very fast moving kind of a mind, and you may always indulge in thoughts here. Okay, and this may affect your peace of mind. Okay, so that could also be possible. Afflicted Mercury if placed in the 12th house, then it may add negative vibes in the communication. Okay, and person may involve in backbiting. That could also be possible. Gossiping, or doing such unproductive things which will earn him nothing except losses. Okay, so that could also be possible. 12th house Mercury has difficulty in developing confidence in their abilities of expression. That could also be possible. Or it may be possible that when you have Mercury in the 12th house, you don't know how to talk about your feelings. Okay, like these people who have Mercury in the 12th house, these natives think too much. They may over analyze their feelings, but they say nothing. That could also be possible. Okay, sometimes it is also seen that these natives think too much, over analyzing their like you know, their feeling, but not saying too much. This deep thought processing make them silent, like and caring, and also like spiritual. That could also be possible. Now, although because of this, like inside they have so much like imagination, etc., so these people may be poet, writer, storyteller, astrologer, dream interpreter. That could be possible. Okay, so, or maybe in some humanitarian thing, that could be possible. These people may also be interested in religious activities. Okay, so that could also be possible. Now, this kind of purpose or spiritual duty may trigger a journey to the foreign land to explore more. Okay, because see, sometime in life with displacement, some situation occurred and the person becomes somehow like feel very bad, so they may think that let's travel and explore the world, and like maybe I can learn something. So that's why it may trigger something due to which you may travel to foreign land, and then you may, you know, like that could be possible. Although this native could have great intuition, right, good intuition or great intuition power, like they may do meditation, right, and they could also see dream, etc., so that could also be possible. So with meditation, etc., they could develop good intuition power. Now, these people should be careful from any dealing with the government or the authority. Okay, so that could also be possible. Now, such native who have Mercury in the 12th house, whether you are a male or female, both native could have a strong fascination for young and attractive member of opposite sex. That could be possible. Now, I would like to tell you one simple thing. If you have Mercury in the 12th house, you have to be pay attention to your mental health. Okay, because mentally it may give you so much that like you have to be careful. Do some yogas or at least meditation every single day, so that you will get some peace. Okay, because mentally it disturbs you. So that's what I can advise you. First thing here, overall a simple remedy, because here you cannot generalize thing and say anything, but at least doing meditation will help you, your nervous system. Okay, because this just creates so much in your mind, right? So Mercury, like of course, loses some things, some karakas in this house. The people with Mercury in the 12th house sometimes become slow in the communication process. It is also seen. Like these people maybe like who have Mercury in the 12th house, these people may find it difficult to communicate their thoughts effectively. It may also possible they may have problems like stammering, etc. Some in some cases, not in all cases. That is also seen. But yeah, because of imagination, they may have good writing abilities. Like for an example, they may also become script writer because they have such a great imagination, right? The imaginative abilities this Mercury give you well, or astrology, etc. They may also have psychic intuition powers. Okay, that's why astrology could also be in a way good for them. They can be healer also. Okay, so in a simple way, they can also excel in occult related field like astrology, palmistry, tarot, and all that, like healing, etc. Okay, so that could also be possible. uh Now, if you have Mercury in the 12th house, it is also recommended that you should try to avoid investing in stock market and speculative business. Okay, so yeah, so guys, this is all about Mercury in the 12th house. If you want personal consultation, links are given in the description. So yeah, this is all about this video, and I will meet you on the next video on my channel. Till then, bye bye.